Okay, hi. I'm doing something new today. I want to do a blog post via video just because I thought it would be fun and because I want to show you some stuff, and that's hard to do with just words. And that was a brilliant opening, and I want to apologize for this bright light emanating from my forehead due to the unprofessional lighting here in my office. I regret that. But otherwise, I wanted to show you something that I'm doing for a new book I'm writing. As some of you probably know, I've been working on new pocket guide books this year, and I've got two that will come out next summer. And when I write the pocket guides, it's filled with a lot of facts, a lot of definitions and dates, and historical things, and stuff that I can get from books or from the internets or from various resources like that. But I'm doing a new book in the fall, and it's not a pocket guide. It's a book that's very different from anything I've written before. It's more personal. It's sort of idea-driven, story-driven, and it's a book about doubt and faith and how those things have interacted in my life. Writing it for Zondervan, and it'll probably come out in 2009. And so as I've prepared for this, I've been thinking about it since last fall when I first wrote the proposal. And so I've come across various things that I think that is something I'd like to talk about in the book, or that will fit into my thesis or a story I'm telling or something like that. And so I've been doing something new. Instead of just relying on books or Wikipedia or whatever, not that that should be your all-encompassing source. It can be helpful, though. And so I've been keeping a stack of these little index cards, and I keep it sort of enclosed with this old school binder clip. And what I do is, if I think of something that is appropriate or that is interesting or that might spawn a certain story or something like that, I'll write it on an index card. You'll notice that this is coffee stain. These are old and kind of worn, and it's because I've been messing with this pad of them for several months now. But like you can see, the first one, it says, if I'm praying for faith, I already have it. What I'm praying for is more faith. It's appropriate for a book about faith and doubt. Somehow I'm going to use that in the book. I've got quotes from different books I've read. Here's one from a Philip Yancey book I wrote about, I wrote some Philip Yancey books. A book I read about St. Basil, and talks about him having ambidextrous faith, about his ability to embrace suffering and pleasure, with each hand and all that working together. Somehow that's going to find its way into the book, I suppose. Different things like that. Quotes from Chesterton. Here's something that Umberto Eco wrote. Quotes from Galileo. So, different things like that. That's a way to keep track of stuff as you're writing, as you're thinking, because I hear something and I think that's a great story, but I'm not going to remember that stuff. And so I've got to write it down. Now, you don't have to use index cards, but it is a good way to sort of keep your mind fresh, especially as you're planning to write, when you're not actively writing, but you're still in the planning stages, because then you can stew on this stuff for a long time, and eventually when you sit down to write it, like I hope to do this fall, that stew will come out and be tasty or something. So there you go. And for the first video blog post, I think this was brilliant. Okay, goodbye. Go to Jason's blog.